A mysterious and powerful entity appears 30 years ago, surrounded by dark energy, marking the beginning of a cataclysmic event. Monsters began emerging from a portal gate, destroying cities and attacking humans. The monster invasion throws the world into chaos, and another dangerous gate seems to open. A young man, frustrated and full of anger, lashes out at the gate and the hunters responsible for handling them. Showing his despair, the boy vents his frustration, questioning why he has to endure such a miserable life. Feeling abandoned by the world, a police officer tries to stop the boy from jumping, warning him of the danger, but he remains defiant. The boy shouts back at the officer, claiming it's his choice to end his life, showing his deep despair. The officers try to calm him down, but the boy struggles, refusing to listen and venting his overwhelming emotions. The boy screams that no one understands the immense suffering he has endured, highlighting his feelings of isolation. 3 hours earlier, the protagonist is fired from the Bitchin Guild, shocked by the sudden decision. The protagonist pleads, explaining his dedication to the guild and disbelief at being let go. The guild leader dismisses his contributions, stating he hasn't achieved anything significant for the guild. The guild leader reveals he only hired the protagonist for his diligence, but is now disappointed due to his lack of growth as a hunter. The guild leader harshly comments on the protagonist's injury, saying he can't work with someone who's now useless. The protagonist is speechless, struggling to defend himself against the accusations. The guild leader tells him to quit and offers to calculate his severance pay immediately. Desperate, the protagonist vows to find a way to heal his leg and prove he can still work. As the protagonist turns to leave, he encounters someone with intimidating tattoos. A blonde man mocks the protagonist, telling him to leave as per the boss's orders. The protagonist recognizes him, shocked, and calls him Lee Youngjin. The blonde man ridicules the protagonist, mocking his attitude and calling him pathetic. He taunts the protagonist further, suggesting he should use his severance pay for snacks, belittling him as a D-rank hunter. The protagonist snaps, grabbing Lee Youngjin's shirt and accusing him of being ungrateful, stating he got injured saving his life. He reminds Youngjin of his reckless behavior in the dungeon that led to him being poisoned. Further venting his anger, Youngjin laughs dismissively, mocking the protagonist's claims of saving him. He tells the protagonist to stay in his lane, calling him a pack mule and accusing him of not knowing his place. Youngjin questions how someone as weak as the protagonist could even possess an S-rank skill, ridiculing him further. Youngjin mocks the protagonist's skill, explosive growth, jokingly suggesting it only helps with height. He continues to insult, sarcastically pointing out that the protagonist's growth plates are closed, provoking more anger. Furious, the protagonist attempts to punch Youngjin, calling him a punk. Their fists collide, with Youngjin blocking the attack using a shield-like energy barrier. Youngjin taunts him, saying it's time for the protagonist, Taejun, to learn his place. Youngjin throws a powerful punch aimed at Taejun. The punch lands directly on Taejun, sending him flying backward with intense impact. Taejun cries out in pain and shock, visibly overwhelmed by the attack. Taejun accuses Youngjin of acting arrogant just because he started earlier. Taejun sees this confrontation as long overdue. Youngjin punches Taejun with full force, mocking him, saying, "Let's see how tough you are today." The guild leader mocks Taejun, sarcastically labeling his crime as standing up to someone of a higher rank. Other guild members ridicule Taejun for challenging the boss, mocking him for simply being Lee Taejun. Taejun is brutally beaten and collapses to his knees, injured and humiliated. Youngjin looks smug and satisfied, breathing heavily from the confrontation. Taejun lies on the ground, battered and bleeding. A severance envelope is thrown at him with a mocking remark, thanking him for his past 7 years of work. As Taejun sheds tears of pain and humiliation, the final insult is delivered, but let's not see each other again. Taejun leaves a convenience store late at night, carrying a bag, while the clerk bids him goodbye. He walks through the empty, quiet streets under the moonlight, reflecting on his situation. Taejun opens a bottle, likely filled with alcohol, showing his desire to escape his emotions. He drinks deeply, sitting alone, visibly distressed, trying to drown his sorrow. Taejun gazes at the cityscape, enjoying the taste of the alcohol, though it seems bittersweet. He pulls out the severance envelope he received earlier, staring at it with a heavy heart. Taejun laments over the meager severance money, angry and defeated after 7 years of hard work. Feeling there's nothing left for him in the world, Taejun steps onto the edge of a bridge, considering ending it all. Taejun stands on the edge of the bridge, ready to jump, when a holographic window suddenly appears in front of him. The window displays a warning. The user's life is in danger. Please step back from the bridge. Taejun sarcastically responds, questioning why the system suddenly cares about his life now. He angrily addresses the system, blaming it for his suffering over the past 7 years. Taejun punches the holographic window in frustration, blaming the useless skill it gave him. He continues to vent his rage, criticizing the explosive growth skill for failing to improve his stats and questioning how he's supposed to survive with it. The warning reappears, urging him to step back from the bridge, but Taejun remains furious. A red warning appears, stating, "Initiating strike due to baseless violent actions by the owner." Taejun breathes heavily, his emotions boiling over. Laughing hysterically, he mocks the red warning from the system as rain pours down. Taejun challenges the system, sarcastically inviting it to strike him, calling it useless for failing to explain skills properly. In a fit of rage, Taejun hurls his bottle and attacks the holographic warning, shouting for it to disappear. He slumps in defeat, trembling from the overwhelming emotions. Taejun reflects bitterly, lamenting that no matter how hard he tries, nothing changes. He accuses the system of ruining his life, blaming it for not explaining his skill correctly from the start. Taejun screams at the system, enraged that it dares to dictate his actions, even denying him control over his own life. The police are trying to calm Taejun, urging him to come down and talk. Taejun yells at the officers, venting his frustration and expressing his suffering, standing on the edge of a railing. Taejun loses balance, his foot slipping off the railing. Taejun begins falling, looking shocked. As he falls from the bridge, he contemplates his imminent death, thinking, "This is how I die." Taejun reflects that maybe dying is better, given the misery of his current life. A mysterious system or entity acknowledges Taejun's complaint and initiates his transfer to the administrator's server. Taejun is enveloped by a glowing light, likely signifying his transportation to a different realm or scenario. Taejun is surprised and confused as glowing blue digital patterns start surrounding him. Taejun panics, asking what is happening, as the situation becomes more chaotic. Status windows appear, indicating that his system is being updated. Taejun is engulfed in a surge of bright blue energy, seemingly in the middle of a transformation or upgrade. The progress bar shows the update nearing completion, reaching 99%. The update is complete, confirmed by a glowing yellow status message. This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.